Good shot. All right.
All right. In our last video, we detailed how vibrations and harmonics affect the accuracy potential of a rifle. We learned about various ways to reduce the ill effects of harmonic vibrations in our rifles, including by adding rigidity to the system, as well as harmonic rifle tuning and some other things. We showed you how pretty much any rifle can be made to shoot very, very well if you know how to tame or manipulate the vibration patterns that normally throw you off. So if you missed the video before this one, you might find it to be extremely interesting, and it'll perhaps help to explain some of the things you've heard about or experienced in the past. So make sure you see that video on rifle vibrations and harmonics. All right, I guess I wasn't really sure on exactly how I wanted to cover this video on rifle selection and rifle options, because there's infinite options out there available for you. And as I said before in some of the other videos, most any rifle you choose is going to be able to be made to shoot very, very well as far as your precision and accuracy requirements. So most of the rifle selection is going to depend on your specific mission criteria and what you like. So what I'm going to do first here is I'm just going to do a basic overview of rifle features and how they apply to various long-range applications. And then you can take the information that you learned here and go ahead and make your selection based on what you need. So I'm not going to cover every possible long-range rifle that's going to work for you ever made. That would be impossible to fit into any amount of videos that I could ever make. But I will give you a pretty good idea of what you might want to look for. Okay, so first off, you're going to have to decide which kind of rifle action you're going to need for your mission criteria. And one possibility is that you're going to need something that offers a suitable amount of firepower. So let's get this one out of the way real quick and look at semi-automatic actions that will be appropriate for long-range applications. So although most standard bolt-action designs are well-suited for many long-range purposes, semi-automatic designs may be more appropriate for certain applications. If your mission criteria is hunting large game or simply target shooting, a single shot or repeating rifle like a bolt action will offer you more than adequate firepower for your needs. However, if you are maybe a varmint hunter, engaging multiple targets within seconds of each other, or if you're a designated marksman or a sniper attached to a deployed fighting unit, you may discover the value of greater firepower potential. So if you ever find yourself in the unfortunate situation where you need to lay down rapid, sustained, precise long-range fire on a multitude of targets in order to keep your unit safe, you may make the determination that a semi-automatic sniper system fits the bill. There are a number of different options when it comes to choosing semi-automatic rifle designs that can be suitable for a situation. I'm just going to cover some of the main ones, though, for you, and I give you some of my recommendations based on my experience here. You're going to have to make a rifle choice based on the cartridge that you have selected, first of all. If you remember in our earlier videos, we went through the different criteria that we would consider when selecting our long-range cartridges. So first of all, you're going to have to select a semi-automatic rifle action that's going to accommodate whatever cartridge it is that you picked. The rest of your rifle choice will depend on your accuracy requirements, your reliability requirements, and your ruggedness requirements. Now, your accuracy requirements will primarily hinge on your target dimensions. And this goes for any rifle, semi-automatic or bolt action. So small distant targets, for example, are going to require a rifle with a higher degree of precision than would targets that are larger or closer. So if you're shooting at a full-size target like an elk, or even if you're in a military situation, you're shooting at a human-sized target or something like that, that's going to require less precision than if you're a varmint hunter shooting a gopher peeking out of a hole at a few hundred meters, or some other applications like this. When you look at your reliability and ruggedness requirements, those will depend on your specific area of operations. Some rifle designs will be more prone to failure under extreme environments, and you'll have to determine how much ruggedness and reliability your mission criteria will demand. So let's quickly run through some of the common semi-automatic action designs that'll work for long-range applications, and I'll give you my own commentary on their appropriateness for different applications. So let's first look at some of these super popular gas-impregnated Stoner 63 type rifle actions. Talking about the AR-15 family, the M16 family, AR-10s, that type of rifle there, the black rifle. There are infinite variations of these rifles. And a guy could talk for months and months on the various long-range configurations that you could possibly make out of them. But in a nutshell, just for sake of brevity, the AR family offers excellent accuracy potential to a long-range shooter. So it's actually a very good choice if accuracy potential is one of your primary criteria. One more. So you have to keep in mind that most of these are going to be chambered in a 5.56 NATO, or the bigger ones, the AR-10s and the 7.62. So that's going to be your cartridge selection criteria. You're going to have one of those rounds or a parent case that's similar to one of those. They do have other cartridges available in those types of rifles as well. But for most, particularly military applications, you're going to be limited to either one of the two NATO rounds. If you're a sportsman, then you'll have more liberty in choosing one of the more proprietary or Wildcat type rounds. The AR-15 and its numerous variants are going to give you the greatest general accuracy potential out of all the different main battle rifle choices out there. Now, there's a lot of debate on the reliability and ruggedness of these types of rifles. So, basically, if you're familiar with the AR family of rifles, your reliability is going to largely depend on your ability to properly maintain your weapon. Due to the gas impregnation design, these things get dirty pretty fast. You're going to have to make sure that you're going to keep it very well cleaned and lubed if you're going to want it to work right all the time. Most of the malfunctions that are experienced with these rifles are due to basically not keeping them clean or keeping them lubed properly. And maybe we can do a video sometime just on the AR family and how to keep them running good. But there's a lot of excellent information out there on this type of equipment. So that's not something I have to delve too deep into. We're going to focus on long-range applications here. So as long as these rifles are very well maintained, and especially if they are thoroughly broke in, they will run through thousands and thousands of rounds without a hiccup in normal environments. Now, if you plan on abusing this rifle every day and constantly filling it with crud, or you plan to hammer out rounds when it's 20 below zero, it might get kind of fussy from time to time. Now, if you're using this for hunting applications, that's not going to be too bad. I mean, you're not going to get killed. But if you're using this in the military applications, then you have to start thinking twice about maybe different equipment selection for extreme environments. So for hunting applications, or even for military applications where you don't have a lot of worry about extreme environments hindering the performance of your rifle, the AR family is going to work very well for you. Now, if you're a soldier who needs maximum reliability from a rifle under extreme environmental circumstances, you may want to consider some of the other semi-automatic platforms out there. Now, I'm going to keep this discussion in semi-auto platforms limited to military-type rifles. There are sporting semi-autos out there, but in my opinion, I haven't encountered any, unless they're retrofit military rifles that are going to be adequate reliability-wise. So I'm just going to keep this limited right now to military-type semi-automatic actions. So and if you got an area of operations in temperate climates, ARs are going to work fine, but they can get fussy under harsh conditions. One cure to that, obviously, is they have some piston-driven ARs out on the market now. Some of the mechanics of the piston-driven systems do slightly sometimes reduce accuracy potential. However, it's not really by a whole lot. So you can get a piston-driven AR, or there's other platforms as well in the 5.56 type size cartridges, like the SIG 551s, the SIG 556s, the Fabrique Nationale makes some, HK makes some. So there's lots of other stuff is available as well in the battle rifle configurations. in the 5.56 millimeter type cartridges. Now, if you're looking for something with a little more power and ruggedness, you may want to consider some of the other NATO battle rifles, particularly the ones chambered in the 7.62 NATO. Now, my favorite out of all these rifles in that caliber, or in that cartridge, is the FN-FAL family. If you're not familiar with the FAL, these have been issued in over 100 countries and have really been proven for a long time. They're known as the right arm of the free world. They're built very, very tough, and they feature fully adjustable piston driven gas system. So they're really well made weapon system. These are real strong, reliable rifles, and they can also offer really good accuracy potential. However, there is one issue that will be very important for you to know before you grab one of these for long-range applications. And a lot of people aren't aware of this, and they've attributed accuracy or precision problems to the rifle. But one thing that has to be known is that these things really like to eat scopes from time to time. They're really hard on optics. Many battle rifles like the FAL have quite a massive bolt assembly combined with a very enthusiastic recoil spring. When these things are cycling away, what happens is the heavy bolt and its carrier tend to slam forward quite violently, causing a very sharp forward recoil impulse. Unfortunately, most rifle scopes you buy at the store are designed to be used on sporting type rifles and are not really built for this type of forward bolt impulse that happens on these some of these semi-automatic designs. What happens quite often is after a few hundred rounds, or sometimes even less, the lenses in these sporting scopes can pop loose and drain out all the nitrogen from the scope tube, and they can get fogged up, and sometimes even the shock will kind of change the point of impact on these scopes. They're just not designed for that kind of recoil. It's not like a heavy recoil in the shoulder, it's a heavy forward impulse due to the heavy bolt on these rifles slamming forward each time it cycles. One scope I mounted on an FAL actually had the objective lens pop all the way out of the front, and on the second box of shells. I can talk more about scope selection for semi-automatic platforms on maybe the scope video, but I can cover that more in detail at that time. But basically, with the proper optics, FAL rifles and these other rifles with the heavy forward impulse shoot very well. The FAL that I have shoots 1 minute of angle quite easily, as long as you have the right optics on there. The same is true with another choice for the semi-automatic action platform is the HK91 family and the G3 type rifles. These things are actually pretty awesome. They're real reliable, and they're extremely rugged battle rifles. But again, you must use military-grade optics on these. And likewise with your Springfield M1As, your M14 kind of rifles there, those are going to have the same effect. Real heavy forward bolt impulse. Otherwise, all these rifles can be made to shoot less than 1 minute of angle, so they're pretty accurate and offer a great choice for a semi-automatic long-range rifle platform. Another group that gets overlooked a lot because people don't view them as being very adequate is the Kalashnikov family of rifles. And I'm talking about the Romanian PSLs, the Dragunov-type sniper rifles. And they actually offer surprising accuracy potential. Again, these rifles also have a pretty heavy bolt carrier and bolt assembly, and they do have a heavy bolt impulse as well. That's why they sport those Dragunov-type scopes, where they're like a real small objective lens, and they're real toughly built. That's why those scopes have been used for military purposes. So if you're using a military semi-automatic rifle, the scopes designed for those rifles are usually superior to the sporting ones. You can sometimes get away with certain sporting optics on these things, but I, again, would not recommend that. Another thing, as long as you keep your Dragunov or your PSL or your Kalashnikov rifle with all the screws tight and you feed it the right ammo, It'll deliver sometimes even half-minute of angle, or they'll keep up with any other battle rifle out there. Most of the inaccuracy problems that people have experienced are due to really poor ammo selection. So as long as you keep your screws tight and feed it good ammo, they work pretty well. And the 7.62x54 rimmed, even though it's well over 100 years old, is a totally adequate cartridge for beyond even 1,000 meters. So there's nothing wrong with that setup. You just want to be very, very, very picky when you select your optics, and we'll get into that on the next videos here. Let's talk real briefly about the semi-automatic anti-material rifles, because this is a whole nother category into itself, and there's some things you might need to know. If you want a semi-automatic anti-material rifle, like in the 50 cals, you're going to be looking pretty much at the Barrett M107s or the M82s. That's kind of the one that seems to be the big one that's available. There are some made by other companies nowadays too, but that's the big one. Now these are, talking about the Barretts, these are a great weapon for their design purpose. But these, you have to realize this is an anti-material rifle. So it's not going to have the match grade accuracy that you're going to maybe be expecting when you drop that kind of coin on this rifle. You spend $8,000 or $9,000 on one of these 50s, and you're going to think you can shoot really accurately, really far. But actually, most of these Barretts out of the box, even with pretty good ammo and an expert trained in HTI, can usually get them down to 1.5 to 2 minutes of angle. So they're not really a super precise for like small targets at long range, but you know, for anti-material purposes, you're talking about shooting at vehicles and things like this. It does the job great, but it's not going to be match grade accuracy. You might need to go into one of the bolt actions in the 50 calibers if you want a higher degree of accuracy there. So if you are on an HTI team, a hard target interdiction team, and you're planning to shoot at extreme range, really, really far, you're going to need a lot of precision. And a Barrett type rifle is not going to really work for you, most likely. It depends again on your target dimensions. A lot of ththese guys shooting at SS1 scuds, and those are a pretty big target. But I mean, for a lot of your smaller targets, you're going to have to opt in for a bolt action or a different design that offers a much greater precision. And there are, when we're talking about semi-auto rifles, there's a lot of choices out there nowadays. So this video is not comprehensive by any stretch of the imagination. Weapon selection is something where there's numerous excellent resources out there online. You can go ahead and do other searches on that aspect. Like I said before, we're going to focus more on the long-range application that might not be common knowledge out there. But I do have to go through equipment selection nonetheless, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. So there's lots of other semi-autos out there. Go ahead and make sure you get a good, reliable one. Do your research, and most likely you'll be fine. As long as your minimum accuracy requirements for long-range shooting, I would say, would be 1 minute of angle. So if your weapon you choose can hold to 1 minute of angle or less, it'll be fine for long-range applications. $890.
Confirm. Hit.
Oh, you got it! Holy cow, you got it!
Well, the morning breeze brings tears to my eyes. In the yellow haze of the new rising sun, I recall the days when the feeling was warm. I can see
Good call.
being torn into